Hello everyone. Last Tuesday, we did up to Saranga's business example in page number 95, right? So we did the full calculations, right? And also I gave you a brief introduction and how to record the transactions related to Sapumali's business, right? So we did it as well, but I'm going to again explain this. So let's read. This is example in page number 97. Sapumali's business has the following balances as at 1st March 2022. Let's take 2022, right? Okay, now these are the balances, right? But we need to record all these things. In this example, in Saranga's business, we can identify creditors and debtors by their own accounts, right? But in here, for all creditors and debtors, we maintain a general account, right? Right. Okay. Now, first we need to record these balances, right? So in the general ledger, you need to open debtors account, creditors account, and you need to write the balances, right? In debit side, 40,000 in the creditors, because this is opening balances as at 1st March 2022, which means closing balances as at 28th February 2022, right? So before that, so I told you, right, 2022 in date columns, right? 2022 in date columns, and in the ledger you need to mention 2022 as well. And you need to open a new account called debtors account, right, and creditors account. I'm not going to do this because in your textbook we can identify the answer, right? But what I want to tell you, since I told you we are preparing the trial balances also, so in the trial balance we need to uh, find the opening capital balance, right? So this is the equity. Under equity we identify the opening balances as capital, right? So assets we can identify as 70,000, which means 40,000 plus 30,000, 70,000. In the liabilities we can identify as only the creditor, so it's 50,000. So the equity is 20,000, right? So what you need to do, you need to open a new account called creditor, but I haven't kept the spaces, right? So you need to draw a new account called equity account and write the opening balances in the credit side, and you need to take it to the trial balance, right? And these are this is the opening balances, right? Debtors debit side, creditors credit side, cash balance in the cash book debit side, and the equity as brought forward 20,000 in first on 1st January, sorry, 1st March 2022 as 20,000, right? Now these are the transaction you need to record it. Receive cash from debtors 7,600, cash discount deducted rupees 40,000. So what you need to do, so you don't need to do calculations because we know now this we received 7,600, which means this is for the 8,000 worth of debtor amount, right? So because we have already now the all these things are cash discount, right? So since this is related with data, so this is cash discount allowed, right? These are not the trade discounts because this is from the cash receiving and cash payment perspective. So this is cash received and cash payment, so we call all these things as cash discount, so we need to record it, right? So we received cash from debtors 7,600, discount deducted 400, which means altogether 8,000. But how we need to record it in the cash book, we need to debit uh, on March 5th, description. So debtors account, because we have a general account for debtors, and in the discounts given column 400, and the in the value column, in this amount column, you need to write it as 7,600, and we record, these are memorandum columns, so we record it later. So only we take the double entry as in the credit side 7,600 on March 5th, description cash account, right, cash book, as 7,600 in the amount column. So we record these discounts later, right? Now this is the second one. Cash is received from debtors to settle 10,000 subject to 5% discount. In here you need to do a calculation. Why? Cash is received from debtors to settle 10,000, right? Debtors to settle 10,000 subject to 5% discount, because in here, so they haven't paid 10,000, they haven't paid the amount by after deducting this 5%. So you need to deduct 5% from 10,000, which means this is a cash paid. So this is 9,500, because 10,000 into 5% means 500,000. 500. So you need to deduct 500 from 10,000, which means they paid only 9,500, because subject to 5% discount, which means they paid after deducting 500 from this 10,000, because we allowed the discount 500. So you need to do a calculation in the workings, right? So write it in the debit side, a date, March 8, description, debtors account, in the discount received column 500, and the amount column rupees 9,500, right? So in the debtors account, you need to write it March 8. So the description, cash book, this is the amount as 9,500, because we record these discounts later, right? Okay, now this is the other one. Cash paid to creditors 4,700. Cash paid to creditors. We paid 4,700 and discount received 300, which means altogether. So we deducted 5,000 worth of creditors balance, right? So creditors amount, and we paid only the 4,700. So we have received 300 worth of discount. So we call it as discount received. It's an income. These are expenses, because the discounts allowed. These are income, right? Okay, so what you need to do in the cash book, so you need to record it in the credit side. So in the credit side, you need to write the date, March 10th. So amount 4,700 in the amount column, discount received column 300, and you need to record in the creditors account, right? So write it the date March 10th. So in the description column, you need to write it cash book amount 4,700, right? So we record the discount later. Cash is paid to creditor to settle 10,000 had been subject to 10% discount. So we paid 12,000 had subject to 10% discount, which means we haven't paid the 12,000. We paid after deducting 10% from this 12,000, which means 1,200. So after deducting 1,200 from 12,000, which means 10,800. So we paid only the 10,800. So we have received 1,200 worth of cash discount. So in the cash discount received column, so we need to record it 1,200 in the amount column, 10,800, description creditors account, and write the date as March 15. So in the creditors account, you need to debit it, so only in the amount of 10,800. So finally, what you need to do, you need to open a new you need to open two new accounts as discount allowed and discount received. Discount allowed, discounts allowed, it's an expense account, so you need to debit the full amount. So which means you need to get the total summation in the uh, discount allowed. Now you know we balance only this cash column, which means the amount column. So the higher amount in the debit side, as it is always, right? So 47,100, and you need to write it in the credit side, and this is the balance carried down. So better to write it in here, right? Because we need to deduct the total summation of credit side from the 47,100, which means we can get 31,600. Balance carried down, balance brought forward, right? Okay. And also after that, we need to get the total summation of discount alone, because these are memorandum columns. We not balance those cash discounts and so discount allowed and discount received column. So this is 900. So you need to open a new account called discount allowed column, and you need to debit it because it's an expense. So debit the discount allowed column. And since we maintain general account for debtors and creditors, you need to uh, credit it for the debtors account on their dates, which means these are the dates, March 5th and March 8th. Better to write discount alone March 5th and March 8th. So separately that and the balances, right? So and the amounts 400 and 500. Now in here see ඒගොල්ලෝ මෙතන දාලා තියෙන්නේ මේ discount එකේ එවෙලෙම record කරලා තියෙනවා. අපි අන්තිමට එන්න නිසා ඔයගොල්ලෝ cash discount එක මේකේ යටටම තමයි තියෙන්නේ. right ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද අපි ඒක අන්තිමට කරන්න. ඒකට හේතුව අපිට අමතක වුණොත් discounts column accounts ගහන්න නිසා. right okay, now this is the discount received column. It's an income, so we need to write it discount received. So it's an income. So this is the discount received. So you need to write it in the credit side, and you need to debit to the creditor's account. So on 2 days, right? So 300 on March 10th, 1200 on March 15th. So these are the dates. So you need to write debit it separately. And after that, finally, you need to balance all these things, and you need to prepare the trial balance. Now, these are the balances you can get. And apart from these things, you need to write the capital account, right? Because we all, so to balance our trial, so we need we need to write the this capital account as well, right? Okay, this is how we can record the trial balance. Better you can write the balances and get the total summation of both debit side and credit side. Tell me the answers, right? Okay, now as I told you, now since we are discussing about cash book, so I told you in the cash book we record all the cash receipts in the debit side, because these are, we need to record all the cash receipt, which means cash and coins received in the cash book, as well as we categorize our payments into two parts. So this is our petty cash level, payments below the petty cash level and payments above the petty cash level. And we record all the payments below petty cash level, which means below 1,000 rupees, all the payments, which means 900, 800, 700, right? So all the payments in the cash book. So because cash book represent the majority, it represent the credit side. So I'll explain it after this one. So this is the payment side above petty cash level. So we can do above petty cash level in cash and the check. So we record only the above petty cash level cash payments in the cash book, and also cash receipts to the business. Even we received one rupee, we need to record it in the cash book. And also make sure if we receive a check, right, to the business, until we deposit that check in the bank account. So checks means what? So sometimes our debtors, and after we did sales, we have sometimes we may receive checks. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to deposit the check in the bank account, so then we can obtain the cash. Understand? So without depositing that check, so we couldn't receive the cash. So because of that, so what we need to do, we need to deposit it. But if we deposit this check at the on the same day, අපිට හම්බෙන දවසේම අපි මේක ඩිපොසිට් කරනවා නම් අපි කෑෂ් බුක් එකේ ලියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. හැබැයි අපි මේක හම්බුනහම ලාච්චුවේ දාලා බිස්නස් එකේ පස්සේ නම් ඩිපොසිට් කරන්නේ. අපි ඒක ඩිපොසිට් කරනකම් අපි මොකද්ද කරන්න ඕනේ? කෑෂ් බුක් එකේ රෙකෝඩ් කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒකට හේතුව අපිට මොකද අපි සමහර විට හම්බුනහම දවස් දෙක තුනක් යනවා ඩිපොසිට් කරන්න. ඉතින් අපි ඒක ඩිපොසිට් කරනකම් අපි කෑෂ් බුක් එකේ දාලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ. right? A business receive cash as well as checks from the debtors. At the same time, checks may also be received from the cash sales, right? So so we may receive sometimes checks. If the checks so received are not banked on the same day, then they can be used as current notes even. So we can transfer this check, right, to so we call it as endorsement, so we can uh, learn it later. So we can transfer this account check to another party for a payment, so a business payment, right? So we can take it as a currency note. That's why, so until we deposit it, so we need to record it in the cash. Therefore, checks received should be recorded in the cash book, similar to recording of receipts of cash. There will be discounts allow when checks are received from the debtors. So sometimes, so when we receive checks from the debtors, so we may allow the discounts, right? So that's why these discounts are recorded in the discount allowed column of the cash book. So now in here, දැන් අපි මෙතන cash payments කතා කරන්නේ petty cash level එකට වඩා වැඩියෙන් අපි checks වලින් ගෙවන. right? අපි petty cash level එකට වඩා වැඩිපුර ගෙවන cash විතරයි අපි cash book එකේ credit side එකේ තියෙන්නේ. හැබැයි check එකක් හම්බුණත් ඒ check එක deposit කරනකම්. ඒතර අපි ඒක සමහර discount allow තියෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. අපි ඒක cash book එකේ තමයි දාන්නේ. ඒක තමයි මෙතන කතන්දරේ. So we can learn it in this through this example. Right? So this is the example. So I'm not going to do this because you can do this, but I'm going to discuss the most important parts, right? Okay, right, let's do this. So this is our example in page number 99. So this is the example. Okay, Hiruni's business has the following balances as at 1st March 2022. These are the balances. This is the capital balance. These are the creditors. Now you know these are the all the equity and liabilities, right? So this is the total of equity and liabilities, right? Okay, now these are the assets. All these things are assets, which means 140,000, right? Also, the total summation of equity and liability we can get as 140, right? So which means all the assets plus asset equal to the liability plus equity. So no worries. So we don't need to calculate the capital because they have already given the capital balances, right? So you need to open accounts, right? So in the general ledger, you need to open an account called capital account, right? Capital account. Before that, so I told you, so you need to draw the cash book, right? The date 2022, 2022, right? In the ledger column 2022, right? In the ledger, so you need to generally mention it as 2022. This is our capital account, right? So date March 1st, description, balance brought forward, means which means balance carried down on February 28, right? 28 to 29, right? Okay, 100,000, amount 100,000, right? Okay, these are the creditors. You need to maintain separate accounts for creditors. This is creditor Surang, creditor Surang, Surang, right? This is creditor Tarang, Tarang. Okay, so these are the creditor balances, right? Now cash balance 80,000. You know we record the cash balance in the cash book. 1st March. So all these things are sorry. We need to record the opening balances in Sarang and Surang and Tarang. Suranga 25,000. Taranga 15,000. March 1st balance brought forward, right? March 1st balance brought forward, right? Okay, now this is the cash balance. Amount 80,000, not in the discounts given column, amount column, right? Balance brought forward, right? Okay, and also we need to open two new accounts for debtor Malka and debtor Imalka, right? Debtor Malka. Now, since these are liability accounts, the balance brought forward from the credit side. Now, I told you, assets and equity mostly, so it may depend on, sometimes it may differ, right? So I'll explain it later. It's for example in the bank account, right? In the creditor accounts, so in creditor accounts we need to take the balance brought forward in the credit side, right? So okay, and also these are assets, right? So debtor Malka account, and this is a debtor Imalka account, right? Now all the assets balances brought forward from the debit side are 40,000, 20,000, 40,000, and the 20,000 from the debit side. March 1st, March 1st, balance brought forward, right? Balance brought forward, right? Okay, now you can do this, right? Now, okay, now the opening balances are, we recorded all these things, right? Okay, now 40,000, 20,000, right? Okay, now the following transaction took place during the month of March. Date, receipt number. Now in the cash book you need to have two columns, right? So I forget to keep the receipt number. This is the payment voucher number. Okay, right. Now the structure: date, receipt number, description, LF, discounts given, amount. In the credit side, date, voucher number, description, LF, discount received, amount, right? Okay. On March 2nd, receipt number 65, which means 65 means it's a cash receipt, right? Received from Malka 8,000. Now we need record it in the credit debit side because it's a cash receipt, right? So all the cash receipts are recorded in the cash book debit side, and all the cash payments are recorded in the credit side of the cash book, right? Okay. uh right, so all the cash payments, right? Okay, now this is cash receipt. So on March 2nd, sorry, yes, March 2nd, March 2nd. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, March 2nd, uh uh received from Malka 8,000. We received 8,000 from, this is receipt number 65, debtor Malka, no any discount, so cash book debit. Malka's account credits. So Malka, she's a debtor account, right? So Malka, this is Malka. Uh, 2nd March cash book. Okay, right? So you need to record it as 1st March. Okay, this is also should be 1st March. 1st March, right? So we received, I think it's 8,000, right? So yes, 8,000 from the Malka, right? Okay, finished, right? Okay. Now the other one. Brought goods for cash, right? Which means on the cash basis, 35,000. Now when we purchase goods, purchase expense increase, cash book, cash asset decrease. So cash book credit, purchase account debit, right? So on March 5th, right? 5th March. So the this is a voucher number, which means payment voucher number, right? 90, sorry, 40, purchase account, purchase account, amount 35,000, not in the discount received, right? So you need to open a new account called purchase account and make sure I'm going to tell you a secret now. Mostly, so you can learn this in grade 11. All the expense accounts and uh, income accounts, right? So we don't take it as for the brought forward balances, right? So we need to record it, and you need to get the brought forward balance. අපි මේවා balance කරලා brought forward balance ගත්තට අපි grade 11 වල තමයි ඒක කියලා දෙන්නේ. අපි ඊළඟ ඇත්තටම opening balances විදියට එන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක ඇයි කියලා මම ඔයගලන්ට පස්සේ කියන්නම්. දැන් කියන්න වෙලා නැති නිසා සහ ඔයගලන්ට පැටලෙන නිසා අපි ඇත්තටම අපි බැලන්ස් කළා බ්‍රෝඩ් ෆෝවර්ඩ් බැලන්ස් ගත්තට ඕපනින් එන්නේ නැහැ. ඒකට හේතුව අපි ඉන්කම් එක්ස්පෙන්ස් අපි වෙනම එකක් හදලා අපි ඒක කැපිටල් ඇතුළට දානවා. ඒක පස්සේ ඔයාලට තේරි. දැනට ඒක ඕනේ නැහැ. ඉන්කම් එක්ස්පෙන්සස් බැලන්ස් බ්‍රෝඩ් ෆෝවර්ඩ් ගියාට අපි grade 11 වලදී ඒක වෙනම ඉගෙන ගන්න, right? So and make sure that's why in here no any income and expenses brought forward balances, right? Okay, right. So yeah, now when we purchase stocks on the cash basis, purchase account debit and the cash book credit. Now March 5th, I think it's March, sorry, yes, March 5th, cash book, right? 35,000, right? Okay, right? Okay, now it's finished, right? Okay, now the other one. This is also voucher number, which means payment, cash payments, right? March 8, 41. Paid Surang. Creditor Surang accounts. Because creditor, he's an creditor. He's a creditor. Why? So we can identify Suranga as a creditor. That's why we paid for him, right? Okay, right. Creditor Suranga. Suranga 6,000, right? This is creditor Surang account. This is March 5th. Sorry, March 8. Cash book 6,000. No any discounts received, right? Okay. Finished, finished, finished. Now the other one. Gave 5% discount to Imalka to settle the amount due 12,000. Gave 5% discount, which means discount allowed. To whom? To Malka, sorry, Imalka, right? Not Malka, Imalka, right? Okay. Right. Now, right, okay. To settle the amount due 12,000. Now, in the working, you need to do a calculation to identify the discount allowed on March 10th, right? Okay. Discount allowed. So I'll separate to two, right? Discounts allowed. So because Malka, she is a debtor, right? Okay. 12%, 12,000 into 5%, into 5%, which means 600, right? Yes, right, 600. Okay, right. So this is the allowed discount, right? So Imalka paid after deducting 600 from this 12,000, which means, so this is a cash discount given 600, received 11,400, right? On March 10th, right? From, so 46, sorry, this is, sorry, 66, 66, 66, debtor Imalka, right? Debtor Imalka, right? Received from debtor Imalka, right? I think it's clear. Debtor Imalka, right? Okay. So I told you we record only this amount column, we record the discounts given later, right? So this is Imalka's account, right? Imalka's account, right? Okay. On March 10th, cash book received only 11,400. Okay, we gave 600 worth of cash discount, so we record it late, right? Okay. 8% discount received when settling the creditor. Tarang 10,000. Tarang. See, Tarang is a creditor, right? So we paid on March 12th. Discounts received, right? Okay, we need to find the received discount amount. 10,000 into 8%, which means 800. We paid after deducting this 800, which means we paid only, right, 9,200, right? So because we received 800 worth of cash discounts, right? Okay. In the credit side, March 12th, 42, right? This is a creditor Tarang. We received 800 discount received, right? We paid only 9,200. Been recorded in the Taranga's account, right? On March 12th, cash book 9,200. Okay, we record it later, right? The discount, right? Okay, now the other one finished. Check received from sales rupees 16,000. This is very much important. Check received from sales. I told you, even we receive checks, we need to record it in the cash book until we deposit. හම්බෙච්ච දවසේම deposit කරනවා කියලා මෙතන දීලා නැහැ. ඉතින් අපි ඒක නිසා deposit කරනකම් අපි cash book එකේ දානවා deposit කරනකම්. Deposit කරනකොට cash book credit, bank account debit. Our next lesson, right? So cash book credit, bank account debit. So we are when we deposit, right? Until we deposit, we need to record it in the cash book. Now this is January, sorry, March 15th, 15th March 67. So we received a check from sales. Sales account credit, cash book debit, but within brackets, better you need to we need to mention it as a check. Why? We need to identify this is a check. That's why. So though we record it in the cash book, we need within brackets, we need to write it as a check. 16,000, no any discounts. Understand? Now we need to open a new account called sales account. Sales account. This is our sales account, right? So we received 16,000 worth of check. So this is 16,000 on March 15th March with cash book. No need to write it within bracket check, right? No need to write because we only need to record it in the cash book, right? Okay, finished. Now the other one. Receive cash from Malka 6,650 and discount allowed 350, right? 350, which means we received cash from Malka 6,650, discount allowed 350, right? So which means on we need to record it in the debit side. It's a cash receipt. March 8, 63. sorry, 60, this should be 68, right? 68, data Malka, right? Discount allow 350, 6,650 amount. So in the debtor Malka account, 18th March cash book, only the amount received 6,650. Okay, I think it's clear. When the amount owed to Suranga 8,000 was settled, the discount rupees 400 was received from him. This is very much important. Now sometimes දැන් ඕගොල්ලෝ හිතන්නේ මේ discount මේ percentage එකක් තිබ්බොත් විතරයි deduct කරලා ඒ ගාන ලියන්නේ කියලා. නෑ එහෙම නෑ. මෙතනත් බලන්න. When the amount owed to Suranga 8,000, which means the amount owed to Suranga 8,000 was settled. The amount owed to Suranga 8,000. So we have received 400 worth of cash discount. So which means this is discount receipt. So we paid after deduct 400, which means we paid only 7,600, not the 8,000, right? So understand when the amount owed to Suranga. So not like we paid cash from paid to Suranga 8,000 and received 400. No. When the amount of the Suranga 8,000 was settled, the discount rupees 400 was received from. Now we need to record it in the cash book, right? Cash book. March 20th, 20th March 43. So we received from Surang. Surang 400, 7,600 cash. So we not receive, we paid, no. So this creditor Surang. It's so creditor Surang. We paid, so creditor Surang. Creditor Surang. Right? Okay. Now this is creditor Surang, right? Okay. 20th March cash book 7,600. We paid only 7,600, right? So discount later, right? Okay. Cash and check received from sales of goods 16,000, 7,000 respectively. We receive cash, right, for our sales 16,000 and also checks 7,000 respective. Right. Now now in here, though they have mentioned 16,000, they took it as 6,000. So we also take it as 6,000 because I can remember this in the single medium class. So we take it as 6,000. Otherwise, the calculations are wrong, right? So because I'm not going to balance it, so you can find the balances in here. So because of that, we take it as 6,000. 6,000 and 7,000, right? Cash and check received from sales of goods 6,000 and 7,000 respectively. Now we did sales. From these sales, we received a cash 6,000. We received cash 6,000 and a check received 7,000. Now even we receive cash or a check cash, it's okay. We need to record it in the cash book, and if we receive a check, until we deposit it, we need to record it in the cash book. On March 24th, 69, right? Sales account, right? 24, we need to record it separately, right? 69 sales account, but within bracket we need to mention the check as a check receipt, right? Now cash sales 6,000, this is 7,000, but this is also cash sales, but we received a check, it as a check, right? Okay, but altogether, now there is a credit sales account. 24th March, 24th March, we can credit the total amount. දැන් cash book එකේ විතරයි වෙන වෙනම දාන්න ඕනේ. අපිට credit මේ sales account එකේ all together 13,000 we can credit it. Not worries. Or if not, so you can credit it separate 6,000, 7,000. It's okay, right? Cash book. Now you know that total debit values are 13,000 and the total credit value also 13,000. No worries, right? Okay, right? Now the other one, the final one. Hiruni brought an additional capital 20,000 on March 29 March 70. Now even capital or additional capital we record it in the capital account, right? I told you. Now here in after no additional capital account, right? So 20,000, 29th March, cash book, the amount 20,000. Now the calculate no not now, so we need to record the discount allowed, right? Right, we need to record discount allowed and the discount received. Discount allowed, it's an expense. Discount received, it's an income, right? Okay, now first of all we need to balance the cash book. This is our cash book. So this is the debit side. So the total summation of the debit side is so you can take in here, right? So the 155 and 50, right? 150, you need to record it in the lower value side, and we need to get the total summation of this and deduct it from this one, so we can get the balance brought forward as, so balance carried down as 97,250. So on March 31st March, balance carried down, right? April 1st, balance brought forward 97,250, right? And you need to take the total amount in the discount allowed and discount received. This is 950,200. So what you need to do, you need to record the total discount allowed expense in the discount allowed column, discount allowed T account, the debit side 950, 31st March as debtors. So after that, what you need to do, you need to credit it to the separate debtors account, right? So you need to find debtors and you need to credit to the separate discount debtors account. These are the debtors, debtor Imalka and debtor Malka. This is debtors Malka's account, right? 600 on the relevant date, right? March 10th. Yes, I think. Sorry, March 3rd, right? Sorry, March. No, March. Yeah, March 10th, right? Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, sorry, March 10th. Discounts received. So discount allowed because we allowed to create debtors, allowed, right? And the other one, this is debtor Imalka, right? Sorry, Imalka. This is Imalka's account. Sorry, March 10th. Discounts allowed 600. Ah, so now debtor Malka, March 18, 350. 18th March 350. Right? Okay, done. Right? Now you know discount received, it's an income. So we need to record the discount received in the credit side, 1200. When income increase, we credit it, right? 20th March, right? Creditors account, creditors accounts, right? So we need to find the relevant creditors, creditor Tharanga and creditor Suranga, 12th and 20th, right? Creditor Tharanga, this is Tharanga, 12th March. When a liability decrease, we debit it. Discounts received 800. Creditor Suranga 400. 20th March. Discounts received. Now you can balance. So you need to take the cash balance to the trial balance, and you can balance these accounts as well and find the both forward balances, and you can record it and find the trial balance amounts, right? So both the debit side and credit side should be equal. So do this and send me the answers. Now these are the homeworks. Activity 3 in page number 102. So this should be 102, right? Okay. Activity 3, right? So you can do it your own self, right? So you know how to record it, and so you need to record these things in the ledger accounts as well, and do this, right? So I extracted this from the teacher's guide. Now this is from the this is from a past paper, right? So not the all past paper. This is from the term test paper in Northwestern Province 2018, right? So do this as well, and then we can move to the petty cash book. Now I'm going to teach you about petty cash book. Now you need to identify it clearly, right? So what is the term called petty cash book, right? Okay. So now I'm going to discuss about petty cash book. So this is also very much important. Now you know about the petty cash book. As I told you, this is our uh, business. Though we received cash and though we received a check, if we deposited it on a later date, so we record it in the cash book as a cash receipt, and we divide our cash payments into two types: payments below the petty cash level and payments above the petty cash level using cash and check. So payment above petty cash level using cash and coins, we record it in the cash book in the credit side. And now, so we are going to discuss about petty cash book, which means payments below the petty cash level. Now this is very much important. දැන් මම මේ petty cash level එකක් දීලා දුන්නේ ඔයගලන්ට නිකන් තේරුම් ගන්න. හැබැයි petty cash level එක ගැන ඔයගලන්ගේ මෙතන කොහෙවත් කතා කරන්නේ නැහැ. right? මම ඔක පාඩම කියලා දෙන්න ඕන නිසායි තේරුම් කරේ. But in here, so we use a term called petty cash impress, right? So petty cash impress, not the petty cash level. Okay. So now we can uh, now this is a this is my tute, so you can find the note. So I'm going to discuss the textbook. Out of payments made by the business, some of the payments are smaller in amount and would occur frequently. You know, some payments are with relatively smaller value, so and also occur frequently again and again. So for example, cleaning expenses, postal charges, right? So accordingly, postal charges, cleaning expenses, traveling expenses, entertainment expenses, stationery expenses are some example for the day to day expenses of smaller value. The petty cash book is the prime entry book in which the payments of cash with smaller values that occur frequently are recorded. Now this petty cash book, right? This petty cash book, these represent payments in the business, but so to pay, now we maintain it as a separate prime entry book. Now this is also perform dual function. We can identify the debit side and credit side both. Now the petty cash ගෙවන්න සල්ලි කොහොමද? Cash book එකෙන් තමයි දෙන්නේ. Right? So now we hire a person called petty cash controller, right? So petty cashier, right? So and also petty cashier receive cash from the main cashier, and then through that from that cash the petty cash controller or the petty cashier can do the frequently occur, right, petty cash payments, right? The petty cash book is the prime entry book in which the payments of the cash with smaller value that occur frequently are recorded. Petty cash book also function as a ledger account. Therefore, it also has a dual role like cash book. Now you can see this is the petty cash book. This is the petty cash book, right? Now this is the receipt side. This is the LF. Now this is the debit side, and this is the credit side. You can see now we uh, illustrate the credit side, right, in a lengthier way, in a bigger manner. Why? So we need to uh, write credit petty cash payments, right, so correctly, because only one time in a month. So in a month we can identify only one cash receipt. So I'm going to explain it now. Okay, now these are the petty cash receipts and petty cash payments. So it also concern as a ledger account and also prime entry book. It also has a dual role like cash book. The responsibility of maintaining a petty cash is assigned to a petty cashier who is under the main cashier. The voucher has to be prepared for the each and every petty cash payment. It is known as the petty cash voucher, not the cash voucher. This is petty cash voucher. Now the petty cashier need to prepare a source document to represent all the petty cash payments, which called as a petty cash voucher, right? So now petty cashier receive cash from the cash book, which means the main cashier, right? So when main cashier pay petty cash to the petty cashier, what is the double entry cash book credit, right? So though both the cash book and the petty cash book, we concern those things as asset accounts because it represents the business cash, right? So business cash asset decrease, so the cash account credit, and the petty cash asset increase, so petty cash book credit debit, right? So cash book credit, petty cash book debit, right? It is the source document for the payment to be recorded in the petty cash book. Okay, now this is my note, right? So the petty cash book is a prime entry book in which the payment of cash with smaller value that occur frequently are recorded. Petty cash book also function as a ledger account. Therefore, it has also has a dual role like cash book, right? Out of payments made by the business, some payments are of small in amount and would occur frequently. So petty cash book used to record those payments. Postal charges, cleaning expenses are some of this, right? Responsibility of maintain a petty cash book. So petty cashier under main cashier. Source document that need to prepare when the petty cash payments are made. Petty cash payment voucher, source document for the payments to be recorded in the petty cash book. When received from main cashier to petty cashier, cash, right? So when cash received, so source document is received. Understand? So even we can identify the receipt in the petty cash book, but so we record petty cash payment vouchers for all petty cash payments, right? Okay, now forget about the petty cash level. So this is just for your reference. No any petty cash level here in after. Why I thought this to uh, differ to differentiate, right, your cash book and the petty cash book. Now then you can learn it in a clear manner. Now I'm going to discuss about petty cash impressed and reimbursing the petty cash impressed, right? So this is very much important, right? Now think about this. Now this is our business, right? So this is the time period. Okay. Now this is now I'm taking 3 months. One, 23 2022 January, 2022 February, 2022 March. Okay, right. Now think, now this is the date 2021, 22 January 1st, January 31st. Okay, this is February 38, 28. This is after January 1st. We can identify the January, February 1st. Huh? Okay, February 1st. Okay, and you can identify after March 1st, March 31st. Okay. Now think this is the date. දැන් මෙදා තමයි අපි petty cash book එක පටන් ගන්න. Right? As our first period. Now petty cash impressed means what? Okay. Now this is the petty cash impressed. Petty cash impress means for the purpose of carrying the petty cash payments with a control, a specific amount of cash is given to the petty cashier by the main cashier to make the petty cash payments, which is known as the petty cash impress, right? Now, petty cash impress means to do the petty cash payments, petty cashier need the cash, need cash. So main cashier give cash uh, to main cashier give cash to the petty cashier to do petty cash payments, right? So we call it as petty cash impress. It is the duty of the petty cashier to make the petty cash payments out of the petty cash impress as well as to maintain the petty cash book. Now the හැම අවුරුද්දම හැම මාසෙම එකම ගාණ දෙනවා කියලා හිතන්න petty cash level එක වෙනයි. ඒක වෙනයි. ඒකම අමාර 1000ට වඩා අඩුවෙන් ගෙවන ඔක්කොම ඒවා තමයි ගෙවන්නේ. හැබැයි ඒ 1000 නෙමෙයි petty cash impress එක කියන්නේ. ඒක මම ඔයගලන්ට නිකන් කියලා දුන්නා. petty cash impress එක කියන්නේ petty cash අර 1000ට වඩා අඩුවෙන් ගෙවන ඒවා ඔක්කොම කරන්න petty cashier අතේ තියෙන amount එක. Now we take it as 3000. Our petty cash impress is 3000. 1000ට වඩා අඩුවෙන් කරන්න 1000ක් දීලා මදිනේ නේද? 1000ට වඩා අඩුවෙන් ඒවා ගොඩක් එනවනේ. We take it as 3000. This is the petty cash impress. Petty cash level is now, no, we are not concerning about petty cash impress. Now our petty cash in our petty cash book, the petty cash impress is 3000. This is the amount which petty cashier need to maintain, right? Which means this is the amount which petty cashier uh, can obtain through the main cashier to do petty cash payments, right? This is very much important, right? 3000. Now think, during the January month, the petty cashier did, right, 800, 1800, okay, worth of petty cash payments, which means below petty cash level payments, right? The total summation of those petty cash payments is 1800, 1800, right? 1800. Okay, right. Now, so at the end of the time period, which means January 31st, right? Then මේ මාසේ අන්තිම balance එක කීයක් තියෙනවද? petty cashier 1200. Why? So already had 3000, so did 1800 worth of payments. Now the balance is 1200, right? Now from February 1st, that also the petty cash impress is 3000. Then January, February 1st to 3000 තියෙන්න ඕනේ petty cash impress. එතකොට I main cashier 3000 දෙන්නේ නැහැ. He pay only 1800. 1800. We call it as reimburse of petty cash impress. Why? On February 1st, then we can identify the petty cash impress again as 3000, right? Okay, then petty cash impress එක ආයි ඒ ගානම 3000ම දෙන්නේ. මොකද එයාගේ අතේ ලාච්චුයි දිනවනේ 1200. And make sure petty cashier reimburse only the total summation of the petty cash payments. වියදම් වෙච්ච ගාන තමයි ආයෙ දෙන්නේ. ඊට වඩා වැඩි ගාණක් දෙන්නේ. Right? Now think during the February month, now the petty cash increase again the 3,000 on February 1st. Now during February month, petty cashier did 2,500. Now forget about the petty cash level, right? 2,500 worth of petty cash payments. Total the petty cash payments, and he prepared a petty cash payment voucher and did the petty cash payments 2,500. Now the balance on January 28, 500. Why? 3,000 minus 2,500, 500, right? Then again, now petty cash main cashier reimburse only the 2,500 on March 1st, right? So the total of the payments, right, during the February month. Then again on March 1st, the balance of the petty cash controller again reimburse up to 3,000. Okay, right. Now I'm going to change the scenario, right? Okay, now this is March, this is April 1st. Okay, now I'm going to change the scenario. During the February month, right, petty cash controller did 1,700 worth of payments during the March, right? So which means 3,000. So he had 3,000, did 1,700 worth of payments, right? Out of this 3,000. Now at the end of the month, the balance is rupees 1,300. Okay, 1,300, right? Now think from April 1st, since they decided this petty cash impress is not sufficient, we need to increase the petty cash impress up to 4,500. 4,500, right? 4,500. Now what is the amount that main cashier should reimburse to the petty cashier? Now the amount which petty cashier can obtain through main cashier is 1,700. Why? So during the March month, the petty cashier did 1,700 worth of payments. Other than this 1,700, main cashier need to reimburse another 1,500. Hey, petty cash impress 3,000 and 4,500 වැඩි කරනවා. තොර වැඩි කරපු ගාන 4,500 minus 3,000, 1,500, right? So the petty cashier can obtain 1,700 plus 1,500, altogether 3,200. This is the payment during the payments during the March month, and this is the increased amount, right? Which means 1,000. We need to add these two. Then this is the amount which main cashier need to reimburse, right? This plus 1,500, right, to the petty cashier. We call it as reimbursing the petty cash impress all these things. මේ හැම මාසෙම වියදම් වෙච්ච ගාණ දුන්නේ. හැබැයි මේ මාසෙ වියදම් වෙච්ච ගාණට අමතරව වැඩි වෙච්ච ගාණක් දෙන්නේ. This is the petty cash impress and reimbursement of petty cash impress. For the purpose of carrying the petty cash payments with the control, a specific amount of cash is given to the petty cashier by the main cashier to make petty cash payments, which is known as the petty cash impress. It is the duty of the petty cashier to make petty cash payment out of this petty cash impress, as well as to maintain the petty cash book. Reimbursement of the petty cash impress. The petty cashier has to request again cash from the main cashier before the petty cash impress is over, the petty cashier should given the amount equal to the amount of payments made at the time with that the impress will be reimbursed, right? This is known as the reimburse of the petty cash impress. Now you can read it in here also. Now this is the example. Petty cash impress of the now I have also prepared this. The petty cash impress of the Lihini was rupees 200. The following payments were made out of the petty cash. The impress received on October 2022, right? Okay. Now we can identify the total payments, right? Okay, right. Now these are the payments, right? So 1,600. Now petty cash balance on October 31st, 2000 minus 1,600, which means 400. Now, what is the amount which main cashier need to reimburse to the petty cashier? 2,000 minus 1,600, which means 400, right? So, sorry, 1,600. The total payment during the month. Now, on October 1st, petty cashier had 2,000 and did 1,600 payments, right? Now the on 31st October, we can identify 400 as balance, right? The main cashier need to reimburse only the 1,600, which means the total petty cash payments in October month, right? So then again on November 1st, the petty cash the petty cash impress available 2,000, which means මේ අන්තිමට තියෙන 400 උයි reimburse කරපු ගානයි to all together 1,600 plus 400, which means 2,000. This is the petty cash impress, right? Now we can learn about this. Now you can read it. Now this is the example activity 4 in page number 104, right? Okay, now let's do this, right? Okay, right. Okay, now let's do activity 4 in page number 104, right? Okay. Sarasi Company Limited maintain a petty cash under a petty cash impress system for making petty cash payment. Particulars related to the petty cash transactions are as follows. Now you need to draw the timeline, right? As 1st January 2022, the petty cash in hand balance was rupees 330, right? The now the in the petty cash voucher, the total expenses during the month of January was rupees 1,670. Now, so I'm going to draw the timeline first related. That's why I kept space in here, right? Okay, January. So you can identify March transactions as well, February and March. Okay, so 2022 January, 2022 February, 2022 March. Okay, this is 1st January, this is 31st January, this is after this date we can identify February 1st, this is February 28, March 1st, March 31st. Okay, right. Now, as at 1st January 2022, the petty cash in hand balance was 300. In the petty cash voucher, the total expenses during the month of January was rupees 1,670. Guys, this is wrong. Why? Now you know when petty cash when we now you can identify in here they what they mention uh, in January 1st petty cash balance is 330. Understand? So they mention in the petty cash flow total expense during the month of 1,670. ඉතින් මේක වැරදි. මොකද මාසෙ මුල රීම්බර්ස් කරන්න නැතුව 330ක් අතේ තියාගෙන කොහොමද අපි 3,300 තියාගෙන කොහොමද අපි 1,670 ගෙවන්නේ නේද? So the date should be January 31st. Okay, January 31st. So you need to erase this. That's why I advise you to draw the timeline. 3,300. Understand? Now this should be January 31st. Now the balance is 3,300. Understand? Okay. Now during the month January paid 1,670, which means at the end of the time period, January 31st, they need to reimburse 1,670. Okay, the total amount paid. Now we can identify how much is the petty cash impress. This 1,600 plus 300 means rupees 2,000. This is the answer for the first one. 1,670 plus 3,000 uh, 300, which means, sorry, 330, which means 2,000. Okay, balance available 31st January, and the total expenses during the month 1,670, altogether 2,000. This is the uh, petty cash impressed, right? So how much the petty cash impressed? Now you know about this, right? Okay, the how much will be the reimburse made by the main cashier as at 31st January 2022. Now you know the petty cashier can obtain 1,670 from main cashier, right? From main cashier at the end of the time period. So total expense now ගෙවපු ගානනේ ගෙවන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට නෑ 2,000 වෙන්නේ. මෙතන 3,030 කියලා දැම්මොත් වැරදි. right? So 330 330 කියලා දැම්මොත් වැරදි. ඒකට හේතුව 330 balance එකක් තියාගෙන කොහොමද? අන්තිම ඔයාලට මේකෙන් තේරෙනවා. So I told you cash book, the balance brought forward balances are in the debit side, even petty cash book. So now I'm going to prepare after this one, so we can prepare the petty cash book. The balance brought forward balances are also in the debit side in the cash petty cash book. Why? තියෙන ගානට වඩා වැඩින් අපිට payments කරන්න බෑනේ. 1,300 තියාගෙන අතේ 1,670 කොහොමද ගෙවන්නේ? එහෙම ගෙවන්න බෑ. Impossible. පිටින් ඉල්ලගෙන ගත්තත් අපි ගෙව්වත් අපි ඒක රිසිප් පැත්තේ ලියන්න එපා නේද? ඒක නිසා 1,600 ගෙවන්න බෑ. 3,330 තියාගෙන ඉතින් අනිවාර්යෙන්ම the total balance is 1,670. The total amount which petty cashier can obtain through main cashier, which on 31st January 1,670, which means within brackets you can write the total petty cash payments in January month, right? So you can write it within brackets. So also within brackets you can write it 1,600 plus 330. Okay, right. Now the other one, if the petty cash impress was decided to increase by 500 on 1st February 2022, how much will be the value of the reimburse? Right. Now this is very much important. This is our timeline. Now you know. Now I'm going to divide it. This is February 1st. Now you know February 1st balance available 330. Why? During the month paid 1,670. So the balance available 330. Now addition to 1,670, right? In addition to this 1,670, right? This main cashier need to reimburse another 500. Why? Now this petty cash impress increased up to 2,500. Now you, this is the petty cash impress from February 1st. Now main cashier need to reimburse 1,670 plus 500, which means 2,170 altogether, right? Altogether to the main cashier, to the petty cashier, right? So as petty cash reimbursement. So me 1,670 විතරක් මදි. අර increase 2,000 to 2,500 නේ. Why? The petty cash impress force decided to increase by 500, which means from 2,000 to 2,500, right? Okay. Now you know petty cash balance in hand on 31st January 2020, 330. Petty cash expenses reimbursement amount 1,670 plus 500, which means 2,170, right? petty cash impress as on 1st February 2020, which means 2500, right? About that. Okay, now the other one. If the petty cash balance was 729 as at the 1st March 2022, how much should be the how much should be reimbursed? Now this is the timeline. Now you know this is March 1st. Okay, this is March 1st, right? So this should be February 1st. Okay, 1st February. This is March 1st. Now you know. Now what they mention, balance available is rupees 729, right? 729. Now you know, now we have increased our petty cash level up to 2500. Even you can concern it as using the first case 2000. Okay, can make a උනේ නැහැ කියලා හිතන්න නැතුව ඒක 2000 අරගෙන දාන්න පුළුවන්. ඒගොල්ලෝ එක justify කරන්න, right? Now the our petty cash interest is 2500. Now we need to now know any petty cash level, petty cash impressed uh, increase, right? So now any increasing in the petty cash impressed, right? Now we need to identify the total amount, right, that should reimburse by the main cashier to petty cashier, which means 2500 minus 729, which means 729, right? Which means 1771, which means during the February month they paid, petty cashier paid 1771 worth of petty cash expenses, right? Petty cash expenses, right? This is the now no any, so since no any petty cash reimbursed, petty cash impress increases, right? So we can identify 1771 as the reimbursement of round. Now you know petty cash impress 2500, right? So petty cash balance available on 1st March 2022, which means 729, which means this is the amount petty cash, total petty cash payments in February month. This should be reimbursed on 1st March 2022, which means 1770. I think it's clear. Now these are the homeworks, right? So you can do so you can what is the petty cash impress, right? So define these things, and these are the past paper questions. You can do this now. So I'm going to do preparation of petty cash impress. Now you know this is our petty cash book, right? Now you can identify our petty cash book. This is also concerned as a cash book, and also it perform a dual function, which means as a ledger account as well as a prime entry book. Now we can identify debit side and credit side, but the credit side is much bigger than the debit side, right? Because we need to do analysis also, right? Okay. Different columns are maintained to record similar types of payments, so that the payments can be posted to the ledger easier. These columns are known as analysis column. Examples: stamp charges, postal charges, purchase of envelopes, other similar types of expenses could be identified and recorded in the analysis column named as postal charges, right? So we need to analyze it. We need to identify the analysis columns: stationaries, right? Postage, travel, sundries, something like that. Okay, so I'll do this. If the petty cash payments cannot be entered in any of the analysis column, a separate column known as the sundry expenses column could be drawn for such payments. Any other expenses which cannot be included in any of the analysis columns but need to separately post in the relevant ledger accounts are recorded in the other ledger account column. Okay, right. So I'll explain this as well. Now this is the petty cash. Now this is the receipt side. This is the payment side, right? Now make sure only this payment column perform the dual function and the receipt column. Why? why we now when main cashier uh, reimburse to the petty cashier, when petty cashier impress is received and we reimburse again and again, which means the reimburse made total amount paid during the previous month, right? Petty cash book debit by petty cash asset increase, cash book credit by cash asset decrease, right? The applicable ledger account should be debited for the payments that were credited to the petty cash book. Each analysis, right? Not the analytical analysis column sum should be entered into the appropriate ledger account. In light of this, the double entries. Now you know what is the double entry of petty cash payment. Since petty cash book, this is performed as a prime mint book as a ledger account. Petty cash book credit we need to debit to the relevant accounts in the ledgers. How we debit? We get the total summation of the analysis columns and we debit it. Only we need to write the debit entries in the ledger accounts. Why? So this is the credit entry, right? So this is, since this is also concerned as a ledger, right? And also these are the analysis columns. So sundry means if any petty cash payments cannot be entered in any of the analysis column, a separate column is known as sundry expenses, right? Now we get the total and record only, we need to open only stationery, postage, travel. So we need to decide what are the analysis column by looking the example, right? And sundry column. What is the term called other ledger account? This other ledger account means me other ledger account කියන්නේ මේ එකකටව sundry වලට දාන්න නැති අර important so items, they can important items. Petty cash below petty cash. Now petty cash level means not the impress. Now you know the impress and the level difference. So in here in your level we don't consider about petty cash level. So we concern only about the petty cash impress. So now think other ledger accounts means, right? So if we need to open separate column, separate accounts for some debit accounts, ledger accounts for some important payments, we record it in the other ledger account and open separate ledger accounts. For example, cash paid to creditors. So this is also important item. So if we paid to a creditor below the petty cash level, so it lays under below the petty cash level. We need to record it in the relevant debtors creditors account debit side, right? So because now the what is the double entry for cash paid to creditors? Petty cash book credit, why we paid using the petty cash book credit, relevant creditors account debit, right? Purchase of asset of smaller value, right? Carriage inward. This carriage inward means when we purchase stocks, we need to bear an additional expense to bring that stocks to the business place. We call it as carriage inwards. ගෙන stocks ඇවිදගෙන ඉන්න අපි ගේන්න එපේ ඒකට cost එකක් යනවා. ඉතින් ඒක තමයි මේ carriage inwards කියන්නේ. We need to record it in the general ledger as well as carriage inward account, right? So these are the important items. What are the purchase of assets of small value, right? So sometimes stapler or something, it depends on the business perspective, right? So below petty cash level, payments to purchase assets and also carriage inwards, these are the things we need to record in the other ledger accounts, right? Like the cash book, the petty cash book also perform the dual function. Accordingly, both the function of the prime mint book and the ledger account is fulfilled by the petty cash book. As the receipts of the petty cash impress and the payment of petty cash payments are recorded in the petty cash book, it perform the task of prime entry, right? Petty cash book also has both the credit and debit side, and entries are recorded according to the double entry of asset. Therefore, it performs the function of ledger account. Petty cash transactions are recorded based on the following double entries. When the petty cash impress is received and reimbursement is made, petty cash book debit by petty cash asset increase. Petty cash also our assets, so we record in the receipt side. Okay, cash book credit by our cash asset decrease. The payment credited in the petty cash book should be debited in the relevant ledger account. The total of each analysis column should be posted to the relevant ledger account according to the double entries. Relevant expense account debit, petty cash book credit, right? So relevant expense accounts debit, petty cash book credit, right? So This implies we need to take the petty cash book balance brought forward to our trial balance as well. Understand? Because it performed the ledger account function, right? Okay. The value recorded in the other ledger column account column should be separately debited to the relevant accounts. When the petty cash book is balanced at the end of the time period, the total value of the debit side is transferred to the total of the credit column, and the difference should be brought forward as balance brought forward, right? Now these are the uh, brief, right? So you can read it. So what is the term analysis? What are the analysis columns, right? Sundry expense column, other ledger account column, right? So what is the definition for petty cash book? Now you can see the double entries as well, right? So read it. Okay, now we can do the activity. So the example, then you can get a clear idea. Example in page number 106 and 107, right? So this is the petty cash transaction during the March, right? So following are the information regarding the payments of petty cash payments of the business of Netumini during the month of March 2022. Petty cash impress was 2000, which was received on 1st March 2022. Now this is the petty cash impress rupees 2000 received on 1st March 2022, which means සමහරට මේ මෙදා තමයි petty cash book එක ආරම්භ කරලා තියෙන්නේ. මොකද reimburse කරලා නැහැ. Right? Okay. Now these are the petty cash payments during the March, right? So we can, this voucher number means payment voucher, not the payment voucher, petty cash payment vouchers, right? And we need to record it. And on 4th of 1st of April, we need to reimburse these expenses, right? How the petty cash book is prepared with the analysis column of the postal charges. Now we need to decide the analysis columns. Analysis column එකකට දාන්න නම් අඩුම තරම එකක් දෙතුන් පාරක් වෙන්න ඕන. අනිවාර්යෙන් sundry and other ledger accounts should be recorded, right? So other ledger accounts. Apart from that, we need to decide other things, right? So in the next example, we can activity, we can decide it, right? Now these are the analysis columns, right? So postal, right? So postage, stationery, travel, and sundry. And this LF means, so in ledger, LF in credit side, this is LF in debit side, no voids, right? Now let's see how to record these transactions. Before recording the transaction, we need to find the petty cash. We need to record the petty cash impress received on 1st March 2022. Okay, now let's see how to record. Now this is our example in page number 107.